Hi, I'm Costa, and today I'll be reacting to Australia's entry for Eurovision 2022. Yes, today I'll be reacting to Not the Same by Sheldon Riley, the winner of Australia Decides, and Australia's entry for Turin. I'm going to jump straight into this reaction because I have many thoughts on this. I really like this opening shot. I think it's super effective. I think the fan behind him is something that they can emulate. It's quite a simple prop to bring, I would think. And it does have that sense of drama, but also a bit of movement. And I think with a ballad, you need something to be happening to give it some kind of dynamism. And I think the movement of the fans does achieve that, especially when you get the kind of glistening of the diamonds on his face piece as well. The smoke machine is not doing what it should be doing. You can see the podium beneath it, but it's also kind of obscuring it in slightly like janky looking ways. It just doesn't look very expensive as it stands. I think either you go for the full smoke machine or you don't have it at all. I will say that in some shots it works and in some shots it doesn't. At this point it does feel a bit samey. I feel like there's a limitation to having such a dark staging and such an kind of intensity to how it's performed. Especially, I think the problem with that is that the song is quite repetitive. So I can imagine being a viewer watching this for the first time and being like, okay, but what next? Like, what's gonna happen now? I think it's worth saying that the song itself, the theme, it will isolate some people who don't, or maybe alienate them if you don't connect with it. And I think those people will zone out quite quickly, but those who like it will stick with the journey. This kind of bridge moment is probably the strongest part of the song. It breaks the kind of repetitiveness and it gives us a bit more of movement, and I like that that is paired with Sheldon going to center stage. This, I understand it really went big for the national final, but I don't know if it's going to land with people who don't know his story. To go for this whole emotional thing, he has broken down into like tears doing this in not just this performance but others, and then it means that the last chorus sounds very wonky, and you really need the vocal to be on point here because you need a good jury score with this kind of song. Right, I have a really mixed view of this song because I think on some regards it is really successful in what it's achieving and what it's trying to do. I think that is why people do respond to it, and I've seen that people who like it really love it. But I do think there is a risk of alienation simply because I think it is a very repetitive song, and you have this very like avant-garde presentation paired with quite a simple song. Like, it's not like orchestrally, compositionally, it's not really doing anything that spectacular, I don't think. And I think the lyrics are very simple for an Anglophile country essentially to be sending to Eurovision. Pair that with the fact that people always have a bit of a front up when it comes to Australia because they're like, why are you here? That's specifically locals. I think most fans don't really care, and they're happy that Australia brings quality. Yeah, I can see this going either way. I can see an eventuality in which it doesn't land. I think the staging is very dark. I think there needs to be some changes, but we've seen in the past Australia really do a lot with staging between Australia Decides and Eurovision. Kate Miller-Heidke really comes to the fore here with that in mind, but also previous stagings that have elevated a song from the studio version. So I like it. It's not my favorite. I think, again, the song itself is kind of the weakest component for me. I think the topic, the theme, the concept behind it is really strong. I just don't think the message is and the execution is paired with a solid track in its own right. I actually prefer it in studio. Live, again, the vocal is strong, but sometimes it just feels a bit overly indulgent and dour to the point where I don't really engage with it. It hasn't got the kind of wistfulness and the etherealness that I would want from this kind of ballad. Those are my impressions. What do some of my colleagues at ESCXTRA have to say about Not the Same?
As an Australian myself, I'm really proud of our entry this year, and whilst it's not a song that's always been on my playlist and one that I play on repeat, I really want to commend Sheldon for his insane vocals and how he's able to carry the song with such emotional fragility and get that beautiful message across. I also am curious to see what he does on stage in Torino, as I've heard that the staging will be a bit different to what it was in the national final, and I'm just curious to see how he steps it up, and I wish him all the best.
This is a ballad, but not like something we've had before in this contest in this year. So that's very interesting. It's more theatrical, which I do really enjoy. Vocally, it's amazing, and I love the part of the performance where he's just like, he gets super emotional. Like it's so touching. So I do really enjoy it, but I wouldn't put it first.
Right, that was our reaction. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, like it, subscribe to ESCXTRA on YouTube, and follow us on our social media platforms at ESCXTRA on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and have a great day. Thank you very much.